We continue today the series of tips for parents who try to support their children with online schooling, with one of the two ways in which schools can choose to stay close to their students. And I'm talking about synchronous platforms. So any kind of video conferencing platform. I'm not referring to one type or to a specific video conference platform. These principles that I'm going to share with you apply to all of them. I have to confess from the very beginning that when this whole period started, I was a bit afraid for my 10-year-old son because he used to have very limited access to technology. He had access to a tablet or a laptop only at the weekend. But because I anticipated some problems, I put in place some principles, some ideas that we respected together. I explained why this would be good for him. And I can say that 3 weeks of online schooling have gone by without any kind of problems. And he has adjusted very, very well. So what exactly did I do in order to make sure that my son was able to cope with this exposure to online schooling and to screens, which was a completely new thing for him? Well, I think it's important for us as parents to understand that the belief that our children are better at technology than we are is not necessarily true. Our kids are very good with certain things from their devices. It doesn't mean that they are good with technology in general. They do learn quickly, but at the beginning, they might need our help. So let's take a look at these ideas that will support them in approaching online schooling in an efficient way. First of all, we as parents should get informed about the chosen platform. If the school announces that they are going to use a certain video conferencing platform, we should try to find out more about it before we even guide the child. What can we do? We can watch some tutorials, and as you know, these are usually very short, just a couple of minutes long, so they won't take too much time. Or we can discuss with parents and teachers. I'm sure that you all have all sorts of communication with the teachers and the parents, the other parents. So you can exchange some ideas, find out possible problems, possible challenges, and think about solutions together with your children. Then, once we know what platform they are going to study on, we should focus on offering the necessary conditions for online studying. This means that we should create a little space like a desk or, I don't know, an armchair, a little corner in a room, which will become the classroom. And the child should associate that space with online studying. So work with the children to have a well-organized desk. They should have the course books, the notebooks, something to write with at hand. Of course, they need a device, a phone or a tablet, or a laptop or a computer that they can use for that. And it's very important to use a headset. This way they might avoid any feedback and being disturbed by background noises. So even a simple headset, like a phone headset, like the one I'm using now, can work wonders. So please consider using headsets, recommending using headsets to the children. Then, a very important part of an online class is to have some rules. And we as parents, we have to make sure that these rules are understood by our children. These rules could be established by the school, as it was the case with my son. The school sent us some guidelines and some things that all learners should respect. But if your school hasn't sent those rules, you can negotiate them with the teachers, the other parents, and with the learners, because they are involved in this and they are directly concerned. Some examples: the correct use of the microphone. In all the video conferencing systems, the participant can mute the microphone when they do not speak and unmute when they want to speak. The first days are a bit more challenging until the child gets used to clicking that microphone icon, but they get used to it pretty quickly. Also, when they want to participate, they should let the teacher know by raising the virtual hand. Again, most platforms offer such a feature. After all, online communication is not different from face-to-face communication. So we must make sure that children understand they have to be polite, punctual. They should respect the same rules they respect in face-to-face classes. And of course, they should be actively involved. They should focus on what the teacher is organizing as an online activity. This is a principle that I think is very important, something that I insisted on from the very beginning when my son started his online classes. I encouraged him to take a break in between classes. Now, I work from home and it was easy for me to hear when he had a break. I insist that he turns off the platform and he goes in the courtyard for a few minutes, or I put on a song and we dance together, or I encourage him to play. The point is not to stay in front of the computer for 5 or 6 hours non-stop. They should have little breaks in which they should do something completely different. This will allow them to come back for the next class and be ready, have all the energy ready for that active participation I have just mentioned. Of course, when the break is about to end, we should remind the children they should get ready for the class. They should go in their corner where the classroom is, get ready for the virtual class, prepare the notebooks, the course books, check the technology, check that everything is working, and then get ready for the class. Finally, but a very important aspect that I would like to insist on is to reduce the screen time of your child outside online classes, especially if the children are young, primary school or preschoolers. You should make sure you should negotiate with the school to reduce the classes anyway. But once the classes are over, we should encourage the children to have a variety of activities that are not related to a screen, whatever that screen may be: television or telephone, tablet, laptop. These are the principles that I, as a parent and as a teacher educator who works online, have applied successfully with my son. And I would love to hear from you and know if you have other tips that have worked for you.